Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings and salutations. Hopefully everything's going well with you. This is another episode of Fangs Up, and man, I got the Rattlers in the background because obviously the Cowboys and the Bucks lost today, so I want to talk about it, especially them Cowboys. But that being stated, I do want to talk about FAMU athletics. And while we did not come away with any wins, we came away with some inspiration and calling this episode the calm, like because it's really my last episode before the National Signing Day. Now, I mean, we're gonna come back day after, look at who we signed, who we didn't sign, and if you aren't paying attention on social media, check out our recruiting coordinator, like Coach Two Bless. He's already put up the smoke signals, letting you know tonight at 9 o'clock. It's supposed to be some news. So, I don't know if you like me, but hey, Coach got this little like Batman signal goes up. Rattler football player looking up, and it's a snake signal. Just letting y'all know. So today, 9 o'clock, check your social media feeds. I'm gonna try to be off before then, I promise. But before we go into that, we're gonna talk about the basketball programs, one of which I have playing in the background. And we're also gonna talk about football, un poquito. And then inside the den, we're gonna talk about what becomes of the transfer portal. Like this is kind of the calm before the crazy, in my opinion. So, but before we do all that, always big shout out to HBCU Digital Network as well as cablebusterstv.com. Man, for $35, it's a great deal. I'm just saying, if you looking like me, they almost got me on a new cell phone plan yesterday because I was like, ooh, I can cut some money. But for $35 per month on up to 3 devices, you can get excellent quality television, and it actually works also on your cell phones. Call 813-360-1902. Who you gonna call? Cable Busters. Hit them up, man. I mean, good people there. But I want to start out with talking women's basketball. FAMU women's played Cal yesterday, University of California at Berkeley. But for those that are inclined sports language, we just call it Cal. But they are part of that UC system. And one of them got mollywopped. I mean, you never really got the shooting where it needed to be. And you start off slow. I mean, they pretty much doubled up the score on us kind of early. And it's hard to come back from that because when you're playing from behind, you're constantly trying to figure out, like, all right, how can we slow them down, but also catch up ourselves? And that's something that we just weren't able to do. Forget it's a little softball uniform. But we just couldn't really get it going. And for me as a fan, I mean, it's cool. I understand when we're playing those kind of games, that kind of stuff's going to happen, especially when you're playing against higher quality teams. But you still want to be competitive. And a 30-point loss is not competition. But at the same point, Cal's, they're not terrible. I mean, I'm not going to say they're world beaters, but they're slightly better than us. And we saw that. But we did see Dylan Horton. I'm telling y'all, that's this year's MJ. Last year, my favorite basketball player was MJ. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Keith was up there too. Keith Little's up there. Meringue, but MJ was a scoring monster, and we're seeing that from Dylan Horton. Dylan Horton, she brought 22 points to the game, and you're seeing that if she can continue this in the SWAC play, you're not going to have teams like Cal in your SWAC schedule. No other team besides Jackson State. And I mean, that's sad. That's sad to say. And it's a level of honesty you may not want to have, but more than likely, you're really competing for second place. I mean, you got to find a way to knock off Jackson. But that being stated, she's doing what Prime didn't. She's staying. And she's had success there. She's building a program. And if you really look at it, it's a good idea. Like women's basketball doesn't overly get large attendance numbers. even at the schools that are overly successful. Why not build that at an HBCU? And why not add a Jackson? I think, fam, you could do something similar. If we could get to where we were winning games, it to me it's a quick flip. It's a quicker flip in women's basketball than it is in men's basketball, just because I think the sport's a little more level as far as talent. It is a little slower paced. I'll admit that. I was spotting men's basketball last night, and it was a couple times. I was at the University of Tampa. I was like, "Yo, whoa, these dudes are a lot faster." I even told the young lady at the scores table next to me, I was like, "Yo, they're a lot faster." She's like, "Yeah, they are." I'm like, "Okay." Like I had to catch up, and I think though women's basketball is just more level, and I think that's just something that you can kind of take some of that model. And I hate that we constantly use Jackson as the archetype, but they got a thing. Like they do. A great athletic director, and he's doing good things. And I got faith in Tiffany Don Sykes. Don't get it twisted. I like our athletic director. I'm confident in her. But I think we can steal some of the things that they've done in those sports and utilize them at FAMU because we have a better gym. I mean, Lawson Center is awesome. It's an amazing facility. It's about my daughter's 12, so probably about 12 to 15 years old, if that. And it's been well taken care of. It's not something we just got new and did nothing to it. It's a nice facility and seats about 10,000. I think if you got a winning program there, we've seen FAMU students will show up. Now the other part is getting the alumni to show up, and I'm guilty. I have not been to a FAMU basketball game yet. I will be though. I'm going to the BCU game actually. So the BCU game, and unfortunately we had to kind of change our plans, but that's on December. Wow, January the 2nd. So I'll be there for that one. I'll be on the floor actually. So I'm kind of working the table there at that one, but I'll be there. That's gonna be my first one for the season. I'm looking forward to it. Like so. Show up, y'all. Show up, show up, show up. We want to see it. Make it hard for me to hear. Make it hard for me to work. But we'll be there. And those are the kind of games and the atmospheres you want to bring recruits to. That should be a game where our recruits are coming to that kind of game. Now, schedule-wise, the SWAC didn't do us a favor. Whoever created that schedule, that's not what you do. You do not put that game at that point in the season just because that's a rivalry and you want the students there. And that's a game where you get good attendance numbers. So just going to be kind of putting that out there because that game is going to be right after this game we play against Jacksonville University. We're going to Jacksonville, but we got a break. So the ladies get a winter break that the guys kind of don't really get. And hopefully that time is used to rest up, recover, and prepare for the next semester. I mean, let's just be honest. Basketball, it can be a tough sport. And while it's not football as far as football physical, it's still physical. And that's a time where you're about to start conference play. Maybe you get healthy. And using that health and the experience of playing teams like California can allow you to do better during the season. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. We don't really care about the non-conference schedule in the HBCU landscape because honestly, we're not winning in the NCAA tournaments. I mean, it's kind of like the adage or the argument of FAMU and the playoffs. Well, we're not playing for the playoffs. We're playing for the Celebration Bowl. Truthfully, most HBCUs aren't playing for the NCAA tournament. They're playing to win their conference. That's it. I mean, it's kind of sucks to be real about it, but like, let's not lie in front of the masses and in front of anybody. HBCUs don't compete for championships at the Division I level. We compete to win our conference. And then once you win a conference, everything else is extra. And it shouldn't be so. It should be that you are competing for more than that. But most times, even in the coaches' conversations, they're going to tell you, well, we want to win the conference first, and then we'll handle everything else from there. Whereas you to go to other schools, they're like, we want to win championships. They may say they want to win the conference, but they're not going to hide from the fact that they want to compete. They want to go to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, if you win your conference, you go to the NCAA tournament, but you can tell. I'll leave it at that. Now, the men's basketball, y'all keep seeing me kind of do that. That's because I got the replay going. And if you did not see it, this is one of those times I'm going to tell you as a FAMU fan, watch the game. You're going to get annoyed. You're going to get frustrated, especially at times in the first couple of minutes of the game. But it gives you something to look at. Like, you actually get a glimmer of hope. Like, granted, Louisville's not a good team. I mean, I was at the University of Tampa game, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I wore FAMU stuff. I wore my FAMU shirt. Like, I had another shirt I was gonna wear. My daughter's like, "Daddy, you're gonna wear that?" And I was like, "You know what? I don't like you right now. I'm gonna wear my FAMU shirt." She's like, "I like that better." In her own way. And I was there. Hardly home, but I always repping. Folks, oh, we love the shirt. Say, hey, you always see some FAMU Leah, out and about. But they were like, one of the refs was like, "Yo, man, y'all took Louisville to the wire." He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "They're not very good this year," but I was like, "Yeah, they got a brother for a coach, but we'll see." I was like, "If you don't win, they ain't gonna keep him." And it's true. Like, in this game, there are a lot of turnovers, and normally the turnovers don't go the way of the Rattlers, but man, FAMU got a lot of turnovers. I mean, at one point we have about 14 turnovers. We need to end up with more than that. I mean, like, getting them, not turning it over ourselves. And what really carried Louisville over was their size. Like, we don't have the size they have in the middle, and rebounding it in the boards is where we got dominated. And to me, I kind of was at the University of Tampa game and looking like they got 2 7-footers. I mean, I don't know if they can play, but I'm just saying, like, it'd be nice to kind of, see what some of them schools are doing to get a 7-footer. Because, I mean, it's, you don't grow 7-footers on trees, but at the same point, when Division II programs have 7-footers and we're stopping at like 6'8", got questions. And that's not even me being biased. That's an honest question. Like, how are Division II programs having 7-footers and we don't? Just saying. Now, granted, I told y'all before, and you may have saw tongue in cheek, I watched that little Last Chance U thing on Netflix. Ooh, another great block. I'm not gonna lie. Watch this game. FAMU's got 2 blocks. One of them makes the top 10 for ESPN. It's worth your watch. That one, it's at about 6 minutes and 40 seconds into the second half. That's the one that made ESPN's top 10. And yeah, it was a nice block. Like, if I wasn't podcast right now, I would have hit the stupid. I ain't gonna lie. I had to fight every ounce of me to fight the stupid. Like, but because I'm practicing. I ain't never met a professional doctor, so I'm a practicing podcaster. I would try to maintain a level of professionalism. But man, FAMU had some shots. Like, just now, 3 point. Like, FAMU stayed in this game, and even though, again, Louisville is a 2-win team, they're not very good as far as ACC level. They're 15th place. Is it 15th? They're down. They're near the bottom. I don't ACC. I don't think they're 15 teams, but they're near the bottom. That's what I saw. And yeah. I mean, they're down to a Florida State. And granted, Florida State's not all sucking because of pure happenstance. Some of that is because they have a legit reason. But you went toe to toe against an ACC caliber team, and you really held your own. I mean, if you have a little more size, you might have made this a better game. And I've been very critical of this press defense all season long for both the men's and the women's team. This is the first time I wasn't critical. Even the commentators are like, Louisville's having some problems with that FAMU press. And it's like, yeah, they are. Like, I don't love it, but okay. I see what you're doing, coach. You know about more ball than I do. So I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna sit up here and start overly being critical for sports that I'm like, I know I'm a novice. Now, football, I can argue with you. Now you get on the chalkboard, you're gonna blow me away. I'm like, sorry. Coach Simmons has forgotten more about football than I know. Cool. But at the same point, like, I'm more confident in football. I'm comfortable in football. Basketball, I'm just watching. I'm just spectating. Like, but I mean, no, common sense. But it's a fun watch, y'all. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it's a 10-point game for most of the game, and FAMU loses 61-55. But man, there's a different kind of energy in this game. Like, I'm sorry, I it's not gonna sound like the nice thing to say. We had a little what for in this game. Like, we played hard. Not saying FAMU doesn't normally play hard, but I didn't see this against Albany State. We didn't look this good. We looked like trash in that game. Like, just being this game, we look decent. If you give me this ball, this brand of ball in the SWAC, you're gonna make some noise. We had some threes, we had some long shots. Like, I'm telling you, I just had another moment where I had to fight the stupid. Like, and I know we lost. I know we lost the game, but I'm still over here fighting let's go. Like, I am one of them. I'm one of them. I'm a diehard Rattler, but like, yeah, we look competent. Like, the shots are falling, the ball is moving. Again, it's just, and it may have just been a night, but if you give me this kind of energy in the SWAC, you're gonna have a good season. I just think in the Southwest Athletic Conference, you get a different kind of ball. In the MEAC, we playing against teams that play ball. In the SWAC, we play against teams who play ball. And I think, honestly, the SWAC may have a better brand of ball. I'm gonna let Herb kind of take that one. Herb Seward, basketball podcast. I'm gonna let him take that one in basketball space. But man, the teams in the SWAC basketball it's a little more exciting to me, and I think it's a little more conducive to tournament play. We've seen what Texas Southern has become. Again, I pointed out, if you can get a stick in a HBCU conference, basketball-wise, you can run it. We've seen Texas Southern's been running the SWAC for years. They really have. I mean, go back and check. Coach comes, coach leaves. They got Shaq's kid down there. Like, they have a program. If they could get to a point where they are consistently beating those mid-major programs, almost a group of 5 mid-major programs, along with the other teams in the SWAC, I think that's a program to look at. And then with that, you got to have that attendance look right. And again, you got to continue to build that. But I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't watched it, it's on ESPN. Watch ESPN. I almost said ESPN3. It's not a bad watch. You're not going to be completely frustrated, even if, we're going to lose. We lose to Louisville, but we look good. Like, I hate Pyrrhic victories, but when you see the teams playing with energy, they're playing with bounce. They're attacking the basket. Some of the threes are hitting. Like, we just look different, and the arena's not packed. Like, miss me with that. Oh, well, they're playing in front of a packed house. They're not. That place might be half full. Again, Louisville's not good this year. Y'all know how people are. And it ain't just black people. People, if you're losing, we're not coming. I mean, that's just real. And, I mean, the arena might be half filled. Might be. And that's a weak might be. I'm being nice. I think that arena is like 15, 16,000, something like that. If you're doing good by saying they got 8. I'm not gonna lie to you today. So go back, check that out. FAMU's next game is against one of my favorite schools. And if you know me well, you know I got 3 real favorite programs. There's one and nobody's touching, and that is Florida Agricultural Mechanical University. My other, the Florida State University, and my third favorite team, University of Kentucky. I don't ask me why. Don't like it really doesn't make it won't make sense. It really won't. But that's my third favorite team. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care about UK basketball. I am a UK football person. I like UK basketball when the tournament starts, but I'm not going to sit up here and talk to you about Adolph Rupp because I realize who he was and what he was. But I will tell you, when tournament time comes, oh, man, I go Big Blue. But football season, I'm there. Yeah, I've gone to Kentucky football games. I'm just one of them. I'm a fan. But this is a game I kind of wanted to go to, but then I was like, ooh, it's gonna be cold up there. Nah, if it snows, I might be stuck. I'm good. So I decided home, even though I did get an offer to go. I did, but I stayed home because it was cold, and I didn't want to. Didn't want to get stuck in Kentucky. Respectfully, no, nothing against the state. I mean, relatives up there, so I was gonna be by myself. I was like, nah, I'll do that during the summer. But that game is on December 21st, so day after my daughter's birthday. And it is obviously in Lexington, Kentucky, Rupp Arena, 7 o'clock on the SEC network. So this is a nationally televised game. It doesn't say so on the FAMU website. Go to the University of Kentucky's website and you will see it says SEC network. I believe it's on the regular SEC network. If not, it's going to be SEC Network Plus, which honestly is just telling you it's going to be on the ESPN app. So go check it out. That's just where we're at with it. Football, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all, the news might break before I finish. But recruiting wise, FAMU's still out there. I'm just gonna talk about three. Not gonna go crazy on the recruiting thing because we got a few kids out there. Julius Pierce, 6'4", 300-pound offensive lineman. He's in the transfer portal, offered by FAMU. Again, where's the beef? You ain't got to ask that question. FAMU's offensive line is going to be it. And I've said it last year. I said it this year. And both South Carolina State and North Carolina Central proved it. Running the ball is what's going to win you the SWAC. Again, you got to be physical. And we've seen where that cute-ish don't work. Being cute, it looks good. It looks nice when you're slinging the ball all over the field. But the run game travels. Coach Simmons has said that. Anybody, and you're seeing Jackson State was defeated because they played a team with a competent quarterback and a competent run game. And just keep it simple. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I want to sleep on that. Like Jackson State's band went up there, and them drum bammers put me to sleep. I'm sorry. Like they was over there just bamming, and I was like, this is boring. I went to sleep. I was about to get on the road. I was doing classwork, and I'm like, man, this is for the birds. I'm going to sleep. And I did not wake up until the fourth quarter. And I was like, oh, just in time. So I caught that whole last 5 minutes in overtime of the game, and then went back and kind of caught the recaps like, oh, crap. All right. So, but we've seen that's how the game is won. Also, Ajay Harrell. He's from Mainland High School. That's in Daytona, 6'1" wide receiver. And this is where the Florida Classic remains important. Mainland is a powerhouse in the state, and it's in Daytona. They play at the same stadium as Cookman. But if you can get a receiver that 6'1" is not, he ain't short. It ain't amazingly tall, but it's a good height for a receiver that can be a playmaker and take him out of Daytona. That's huge. That's why the Classic is relevant, because as long as Cookman is kind of down, you're going to have a recruiting advantage. And as long as you have the facilities that you have a recruiting advantage. Even though they're not world class, it's time to replace that field house. Soapbox is over there. I'm not going to get on it today. But you have better facilities than Cookman. They play at a high school stadium. They don't have what you have. They don't. I could lie. They don't. We talk about the stability FAMU needs. They don't have that. So you have an advantage in a lot of places that Cookman doesn't. That honestly, they don't have a football coach right now. You have a lot of recruiting advantages going into this early signing day that, I'm just saying, that's a kid. If you can get his name on the line, you do it. You try to get as many of these guys on there with the understanding that the transfer portal is still hot. You may get one or two extras, but you got to do what you got to do. Now, we do have a commitment, and we're supposed to have two more in 4 minutes. But Kelvin Dean Jr., he attended Rickards High School. I'm going to say Richards. And he's an FAU transfer. So Tallahassee kid coming back home. And it's not a complete shock. Again, Willie Taggart got fired. And if you're one of those people that's still, I had to clean that up. If you're still crying that Florida State fired Willie Taggart, man, go sit down somewhere. that brother is on job number 3. And Mike Norvell had a good season. Just saying. Like, just go drink a hot Coke. Like, I'm just saying. Like, for y'all that don't like hot soda, I don't care. I drink a Coke. This Coca-Cola is my favorite soda, and that one's empty. Y'all know it didn't make it. But you can drink a hot soda, a hot Coke on a hot summer's day, if you want to still cry about Willie Taggart getting fired by Florida State. That Norvell's already proved that, hey, that was a good decision. They didn't give Norvell the same advantages that they gave Taggart. I will not disagree with you on that, but the results are the results. Just saying. So this guy's probably some of that collateral damage. FAU hires a new coach. They're going to probably have some of those transfers, and especially if you're on your second transfer, you gotta free out, because if your coach leaves, you can go too. So don't be surprised. There's another player, Jalen Joyner. He's a defensive lineman from Orlando Jones. He's in the portal. Wouldn't be surprised you offer him. North Florida kid. Granted, he went to Jones, but he's from Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not a long ride. Neither is Orlando. But you already have students from Raines. I believe Jalen went to Reball, if I remember correctly. It's been a few years. One of my former students. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But I think FAMU's appealing. You have he's one of the good brothers from Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. FAMU's Tallahassee chapter is amazing. I mean, I'm not even interested in that organization like that, but they have some really great people. Their Omega Lamp Lighters there are great. Royal King, shout out. That's one of my former coworkers, and that brother, he does some amazing things. That chapter in Tallahassee is very strong. And if I'm Willie Simmons, I use that. If I'm Coach, Riskus, I use that. Hey, bro, the Omega chapter in Tallahassee is award winning. They're doing all these great things. You can come up here and, be with the chapter, and a strong chapter that's doing some great things, doing some good things in the community. They're winning awards. You can align yourself with them. Again, you got to use every advantage that you have in recruiting. And sometimes it's that knowledge, it's knowing that, and it's understanding that. And it's, hey, if you've never heard it, hey, here you go, coach. I'm telling you, kids in Omega, or the man's in Omega. FAMU's chapter is strong. The Tallahassee chapter has done some great things. And it would probably be a nice recruiting angle to get them to say, hey, come over here and throw hooks up with us. Just saying. But it's there. And that's I haven't seen that he's been offered, but dude is a menace on the line. Like, and he got a little bit of what for to him. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. But that, don't be surprised. You see another FAU player or two transfer. I speculated that Taggart sunk my transfer. Again, that's why I said speculation. Irresponsible, unfounded, and unproven. But I speculated, and I was honest enough to say it was speculation. Now, in referencing to the transfer portal, I'm gonna go inside the den. And look, I'm over here like y'all, like waiting to see, like, all right, coach, what you about to drop? What you about to drop? What you got? But the transfer portal, to me, is going to be very similar to what minor league baseball was. Was. And I say that because minor league baseball, and think about it, before we had FBS, and FCS, it was 1AA and 1A football. So you have single A baseball, AA baseball, AAA baseball, Major League Baseball. I would equate it to that. The FCS is likely to be the area where players who either don't have roster spots or don't quite fit the mold of a whatever archetype player that is they're looking for goes to. And if that player dominates at that level, then all of a sudden the transfer portal is going to be how that player moves up. And vice versa. When you get a player that does not do well at the FBS level, he's going to transition down to the FCS. I think we've seen multiple examples of that. In the first year of the transfer portal, we saw where Cushney went from Alabama A&M, went to Florida State, kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And I don't know how much of that was him and how much was them. But you see, he leaves, he goes to Purdue. Purdue goes to the Big Ten championship. I don't know how much of a part he plays in that, but still, it happens. You see the opposite, though, where Jared Verse, another guy, does great at the FCS level, gets seen, goes to Florida State. I mean, and then we saw the same, Isaiah Land. Isaiah Land does great at the FCS level, gets offers from FBS schools, ends up staying. And I think that's going to be the new thing. That's going to be the way that the transfer portal works. It's going to be a way that the players that do really well move up, and the players that don't do as well move down. It's almost like like being relegated to a lesser league. And now, if you can go and move down to the FCS and do well, then I mean, you're not going to be able to move back up immediately. But when it's time for the pros, they already know your name. A great example of that was FAMU's tackle Goss. Like, I don't know if anybody else was like me, but kind of going into the season, I was like, all right, I'm hearing what they're saying about you at Florida State. Let's see what you look like here. And he ends the season with all conference nominations, like national recognition. And again, whatever happened at Florida State didn't work, but you came to FAMU and you look decent. Another year of that, and what happens? Like, maybe you end up getting that call when it's time for the draft. And we're starting to see, like, George Wilson, he was offered by FAMU. Wilson was undersized defensive end, comes to Florida State from Virginia. Obviously, he's got offers from Norfolk State, but he's also got offers from FAMU. And man, what can be? Can you get this kid to commit to the orange and the green? I mean, it's a good question. And to me, I think that's what the transfer portal is going to become. It's going to become the thing that allows players to move back and forth, but it's also going to allow the FCS to serve as the minor leagues. I don't know any nice way of saying it, but just look at how FCS football is and compare it to minor league baseball, or minor league sports in general. Minor league sports are regional. FCS football is regional. Like arena football, very few of y'all that don't live in areas where there is arena football care about it. I like arena football. Now, there's arena football here, and I don't support them because I don't support no team from Orlando but a soccer team. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't like the Magic. I don't like the Predators. The new football team, I might give them a shot, but I don't do any of our local teams. I don't. I like the Heat. It's my favorite basketball team. Been a Miami Heat fan since 1996. I'm not one of these LeBron people. I go all the way back, Tim Hardaway, all them jokers. Like I'm one of them. But I like the Jacksonville Sharks. That's my favorite arena football team. They're a close team, Tallahassee. I've been to a few games. I like them. Regional. Jacksonville has a minor league baseball team, the Jumbo Shrimp. I'm not a fan, but I'm a Rays fan. Again, baseball is very regional. So you're able to see that within that mindset. That's the way the FCS is probably going to work. These teams that have regional relationships with their fan bases are going to be where players who may not have gotten that shot to go to the FBS hone their skills. And after 2 or maybe 3 years, they show that I'm the best player at this level. I'm the best player in this conference. Now it's time to move to the higher level of competition. And instead of going pro, you go to the FBS. And then in an era and time where you now have these collectives and these programs, these NILs, now it's feasible. It's not just that these students are coming to college and they're playing at FAMU and FSU and whatever, and I'm just going to transfer and get nothing. No, you come to FAMU, you have 2 great years. All of a sudden, the FSU, the battle group, they see you. Like all of a sudden, that collective sees you and they're like, yeah, I mean, I know FAMU is great. We love them. We support them, whatever. And I don't know how much Norvell would really poach from Simmons like that. I'm not saying I trust that he won't. I just saying I don't know. But I'm just gonna point out, you start looking over here and saying that we have a collective and we can pay you $30,000-$40,000 and you transfer and we have these facilities. Man, look, it's a no-brainer. These guys are going to start going from the minor leagues where you're riding in buses, the budget is a lot smaller, to the major leagues where the budget is larger, you have better facilities, better equipment. And while it hurts as a rational person to state that the level of play at which your university's at is the minor leagues, the realization is what it is. The FCS as a whole is the minor leagues. The FBS is AAA. You can call it the major leagues if you want to dumb it. If you want to dumb it down for the everyday person, the FBS is the major leagues. But if we're going to be honest with it, the FCS is like single A baseball, maybe double A. The FBS is AAA. The NFL is still the major leagues. It is what it is. And what we have to do as a program and a university is find a way to make our minor league as attractive as possible. Because unless you're going to increase enrollment, increase stadium size, and do all these different things and generate more revenue, you're not going to be able to move up to AAA level. You're going to be a single A, double A team. And I would argue HBCUs are single A programs, if not damn near summer league. Like, I'm just saying, like, look at the budget, look at the way we operate, look at the way we do things. It's really low level minor league sports. But that being stated, it doesn't mean that we can't do major league things and we can't find new ways of creating revenue. I don't know if you watch the Savannah Bananas thing that they're doing up there. They're creating their own thing. They're finding their own ways. And now all of a sudden they've gone from having their own niche audience to having something that is a money-making niche. And I think as the HBCUs continue to grow and continue to prosper, that's something we have to do. If your band comes to town, you need to have a battle of the bands. Invite the high school bands, invite the locals, charge them $10, $15 a head, put it in the basketball arena at whatever school you're at. It makes money. Now, can you do that to where it's big enough to make money to pay for the band to get there? Can you get sponsors to sponsor it? Because you have your niche. You have your thing that black and white people know you for. Like let's not tell a lie. White people know about these bands. My first teaching job was at Jones High School. And I was told by the black people how great Jones was, but I had a coworker, white lady, sat up there and said, "Oh, Jones, man, that band is amazing. I didn't go to Jones, but everybody talks about how great the band is." Like, but I had not set foot on campus, and that was the word I got. People do the same thing about the 100. They do the same thing about Howard's band. Whatever band is local to you, if you're in South Carolina, they're talking about the 101. That's something now as a single A, double A program, you have to include in the package because you already get that included in your ticket package. If you get a football ticket, it comes with the band. But what is something that we can do to offer a band package, something supplemental that speaks to our niche and what we're really good at to create revenue? So again, I will contend this is the calm before we get into the craziness of the transfer portal. And some coaches are going to have to learn the hard way at the FCS level. The portal is going to be the difference maker. At the FBS level, the teams winning championships, by and large, are not doing it with players from the portal. That's not something I found out myself. I'm not going to lie. I kind of noticed it, but I'll give credit where credit's due. I know if I steal from somebody, I'm not going to steal and not at least leave receipts. I stole that from Bud Elliott. I listened to NoCast, listening to the On Three podcast. I'm like, I didn't think about that fully like that, but it was true. The teams that are your best 3 or 4 teams in the nation, yeah, those are homegrown talents, and they're just shuffling them in and out. And the players that can't cut it, they cut them, and they go to other schools. So at this point, we have to figure out before somebody else really truly figures out how to work this transfer portal, how to work it. I think FAMU's done pretty well so far. I'm just gonna say, I think we figured something out. I think Jackson State had the stick, but they also had the coach. Not saying that Willie ain't the coach, because I've said it once, said it twice. Yeah. You put me in an in-game situation, I'm taking Simmons. I think we saw that last night. I'm just saying, in-game Jackson State's management was terrible. Even Coach Simmons was like, "What is this?" And I think that was him being as nice as he could be in the moment and still saying something. Because I'm pretty sure it was like, "What the F is this? What are you doing? You have timeouts. Why are you spiking the ball? What do you?" I'm pretty sure there was a lot of that next level coaching thinking, like, "What the heck is going on?" But the transfer portal is going to be the way, and it's going to make some people some money. And we're going to see how many students JSU keeps. But I'll be honest, I mean, some of those guys are graduating. My guy's graduating, so I mean, hey, I'm happy for him, but I'm not concerned about them. My concern is FAMU, and in this time, we have to continue to get offensive linemen that are going to keep our quarterback upright and that are going to allow us to have depth. We have a running back. We have a running back room. Receiver wise, we have receivers that didn't play last year. Are they going to play? We have a quarterback who did not play. What's up? Is he eligible? Is he not eligible? What's up? Like, we got enough to take care of at home to not worry about those other teams. So, you know, that being said, y'all, that's my time. I'm over. I'm gonna give a shout out. NCCU, congratulations. They did win the Celebration Bowl. As you notice, I didn't talk about it. I if you follow my personal page on Twitter, you don't have to. There's not a lot on there. But that's where if I'm gonna say it with my chest, I say it there. But I was honest. I thought I had Jackson by 20. I was wrong. So, NCCU, congratulations. You won a Celebration Bowl. You proved me and a lot of other folks wrong, and you made some people's pocketbooks a little bit lighter. I'm not one of them because I don't gamble like that. But I do play. I did play the Underdog Fantasy today, though. So they are one of the sponsors for the FQ Family Twitter page, and I played a board there. We're gonna see. I was in the money last time I checked, and that was before the Cowboys had an epic collapse. So we'll see if I'm still in the money. But as always, y'all, thank y'all for the show. This Music Next is starting to hit. But always, big shout out to HBCU Digital Network. This is home. Thank y'all, Herb. Man, look, there's a lot of Adam. Thank y'all so much just for supporting, being with a person who, man, it's been about a year. It's almost a year to the date since I started. Just give me a chance, and we're gonna make this bigger and better. We're gonna get the website back going. That's something that on my end I've been working on several things, so gonna get that going. Also, big shout out to cablebusterstv.com. Thank y'all for being my first and title sponsor of the show. We'll talk about next year, see what y'all gonna do. And also shout out to everyone who's helped this year. It has been a great year. And y'all, let's get ready for National Signing Day, early signing day. We have at least 3 Rattlers. One is going to be in Cape Coral, Somerset. There's another potential Rattler in Tallahassee. I mean, it's not going to be crazy. I'm not going to sell y'all wolf tickets, but FAMU has a potential on early signing day to sign maybe 5, which that's a good number considering your FCS. I mean, it's to get 5 or 10 players, that allows the coaches to go out there and say, "Oh, I know what I need." So I'm excited for it. I look forward to talking, maybe seeing if I can pull a little bit of their film, and seeing if we can get that going. So as always, y'all, big shout outs. Thank y'all. And as always, this Fangs Up. And before Fly say, Merry Chroma.